Hello and welcome. Here in this video, we are solving some example to identify whether the given system is linear or non-linear system. In the last video, we studied that to check the linearity, system should follow superposition principle. Superposition principle is if x1t is the input to the system, its output is y1t and x2t is input, its output is y1t. Now I will add x1t and x2t as a input. At that time, according to superposition principle, at the output I should get summation of individual outputs, that is y1t plus y2t. If this condition is satisfied, we can say it follows the superposition principle and the system is linear system. One more point, if the input gets scaled by some constant, suppose a, output also gets scaled by same constant a. This is superposition principle. Now let's solve some example. Y of n is equal to x square n. We need to check whether this given system is linear or non-linear. Here system takes the input amplitude square. When x1n is the input or x of n is the input, what system does? It takes the square of the amplitude. So output is x square n. This is our system. Let's check superposition principle. We'll take x1n as an input. At that time, y1n is square of the x1n. Whatever the input, it will square its amplitude. Similarly, x2n is the input. Output y2n is x2 square n. Now, we'll add x1n and x2n and give it as an input to our system. So x3n is summation of x1n and x2n is the input, then output, it square the input. That means x1n plus x2n square. Now let's expand this square. X1 square, x2 square plus twice of x1, x2. We know that x1 square is y1n, x2 square is y2n. We can write like this. According to superposition principle, if there is a summation of two different signal in the input, at the output I should get summation of individual output. That is, at the output I should get y1n plus y2n only. But here one more additional term we are getting, and that one is twice of x1 and x2n. That means this doesn't follow the superposition principle. So this system is non-linear system. Let's solve one more example. Y of t is equal to x of t square. Now here operation is on the time, not on the amplitude. In previous case, it was x square n. So there is an operation on the amplitude square. Here time factor square. So what system does? Squaring of the time. So if x of t is the input, output is x of t square. Now let's check the superposition principle. x1t is the input, y1t is x1 of t square. x2t is the input, output y2t is x2 of t square. When x1t plus x2t is the input, output is it square the time only. So x1 t square plus x2 t square. We know that x1 t square is y1 t and x2 t square is y2 t. So we can write output is y1 t plus y2 t. So when the input is addition of two signals, output is addition of its individual outputs. That means it follows the superposition principle and the system is linear system. So here we'll take some more example of linear system and non-linear system. Linear system. Y of t is equal to x of t square. Just we solve this example. Y of n is equal to x square n. Here the squaring of amplitude. Y of n is equal to nx of n. This is linear system. Y of t is equal to e raised to x of t. Here exponential of the x of t. Y of n is equal to x of n plus x of n minus 100. Y of t is equal to 4x of t plus 2 d by dt of x of t. These are some examples of linear system and non-linear system. You can check whenever there is an operation on the amplitude of the signal, and if that operation is non-linear operation like squaring, exponential, the system becomes non-linear system. The system which includes non-linear operation like squaring, exponential on the amplitude of the input signal x of n, that systems are non-linear systems. So this is all about linear and non-linear system. Thank you.